Thanks for returning to our second episode of Ndeipi MuDiaspora for season 2.
Welcome.
And we would like to welcome again Tinebimbo and Charmaine, our co-hosts for the season.
Yes,
welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. We're happy to have you. Question of the day: can a woman have it all?
Wow, that's a
good one.
I do think women can have it all. I do think that you can't have it all without sacrificing something or prioritizing something else, you know? I think it kind of goes hand in hand. But I do think that women can have it all.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, honestly, I guess like for me, like the only thing that scares me a little bit with the whole have it all is like deciding when to have children, right? Because if you wait too long, you know, like one thing about the feminist movement, like our biological clocks haven't caught up with us. So, right? And it's like whatever. But other than that, like I feel like I'm always afraid that I'm not gonna have the same like determination, or I'm gonna shift focus when I have a child. But just speaking with other people, and you know, you guys are great examples that like you can still do it. And I don't know why I'm so scared.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly think that women can have it all. And I think it's sad for me, I think it's sad that we even ask that, because we don't ask men if they can have it all.
No, we don't.
The expectation is that they can. With us, there's that thought of, well, what's gonna happen? Kind of like you thinking about what's gonna happen with the family piece. But I feel like we limit ourselves because really it's 2018, ladies. We're out here doing amazing things, building businesses. You're gonna see the guests that we have coming on.
Right.
Really, I feel like we can have it all. I think we sometimes place limits on ourselves based on society, but we can demolish those limits.
Okay, you make your own rules.
Yes, we don't have to beat to the drum of society. Beat to your own drum.
Make your own lane.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Like, I think definitely you can have it all. With me, it's just a time management thing. I'm a mom. I work a full-time job. I do this talk show. I could even sell clothes. I can do anything, okay? It's just the balance and the time management. That's the only thing that I find, but it can be done, and we are doing it, sitting right here.
We're currently doing it.
And we're seeing so many examples. I guess I'm just like, society, like you said, I feel like society had this like image in my head. I'm supposed to be married by this age. Have children, and a lot of my friends have children, and I'm just like, oh my God, like what did I do wrong? But like I said, everyone has their own path. And as long as you follow your path, like I feel like God has my back.
You know, they always say, like, don't compare your chapter 10 to someone's chapter 23. Right. You don't know what that person's been through in between, so you just do you at your own pace, and you can definitely accomplish a lot of things that you don't have to feel like that pressure of. It's easier said than done, but we can do it.
So on that note, our guest today, our first guest for the season, is an amazing, amazing woman. I'll just wait, because we'll be back. You will find out for yourself, so hang tight.
Our guest today is none other than Anita Hawkins, a philanthropist, a gorgeous model, a great entrepreneur who has built multiple businesses, and the author of The Storm After the Storm. She is a woman who embodies beauty, brains, and determination. Please welcome to our show, Anita Hawkins.
Woo! Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Let me just say again, the melanin is popping. I'm just glad y'all let me be in the middle. It's greatness, all this deliciousness.
So Anita, can you tell us who is Anita Hawkins?
Oh, okay. When I talk to people, when I refer to myself before, I would always give a breakdown and say I do this, and this. Well, I was dubbed a lifestyle expert extraordinaire.
Wow.
Years ago. And then I just gained a new title.
Yes.
I'm the producer of Smiles.
Wow.
Wow.
I love that.
Yes, and that's through my nonprofit organization, Find One Reason to Smile. We reinvent the smiles of women for the smiles that have been stolen due to domestic abuse and women that have been sex trafficked. And they've been forced to use drugs, so of course their teeth deteriorate. So we want to reinvent those smiles so they can walk around with confidence and boldness. Because, you know, they go to the shelters and safe havens and you give them all of the tools.
Right.
But what about that T-zone?
Right.
Yes.
That's the first thing that you see, and all of you have beautiful smiles.
Thank you.
And that's the one thing that some of us take for granted.
That's true.
First thing we do in the morning, we get up and we brush our teeth. There are a lot of women that don't have that.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. That's amazing.
yeah.
That is really impressive. I mean, the basis of our show is empowering the community. You know, we're all women in diaspora, so we hope to empower people. And what you're doing is like the embodiment of empowerment. So it really is a wonderful thing to hear. And we know that you're juggling a whole lot of things, and we'd love to hear more about some of the upcoming events that you have. We heard something about a trip to Africa, and you know, yeah, some of us here are African, so we would love to hear. Excuse me, what's coming up?
Okay, I have been commissioned to host and judge an event in, make sure I'm saying it correctly, Zambia. In Zambia in March, and it's a Miss Curvy Ultimate pageant.
That's awesome.
So and what they're trying to do, they're trying to bring models, curvy models, from all different parts of Africa to come in and compete.
That is amazing.
So I'm extremely excited about that. I was like, you chose me out of all of you. I said, how'd you find me? And he said, I just love everything that you embody, and we can't wait, you know, to get you here. So I'm excited about that. And then I have another friend of mine. She is a native of Gambia, and she's doing a master class, a makeup master class in Gambia the 1st of January. So I'm going to be, and I'll be the face of that. So I'm excited. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. So that'll be in January.
Have you been to Africa?
I've been to Lagos, to Nigeria. That was, let me see, 2015. I went for a women's empowerment conference.
Okay.
My spiritual godmother is always over there. She's a prophet, so everyone knows her all over Johannesburg, Zimbabwe. She's everywhere. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Wow. So I know you do a lot of like philanthropy work, you know, in the community. Like you said, you do One Reason to Smile. You've done work with Minnie's Food Pantry. And I just want to know, like, why are you so passionate, and why passionate about it, and why you think it's so important to give back?
Are you trying to make me cry? Well, growing up, you know, a lot of people have a story where they say, okay, I grew up and I was poor and I was this and that. Well, that's not my story. I grew up in a middle class home. My father was retired military, so, you know, we had like the biggest house on the block. And my mom was a city bus driver. I mean, we had maid, like everything. Like, and this was in Indiana. I was born and raised in Indiana. And no one knew beyond that I was being molested within those 4 walls.
Wow.
So I took a turn for the worse. A lot of people that have been raped or suffered through something traumatic like that, they go down a road of maybe drinking, they go down a road of eating, or, I mean, there's so many different vices. Well, my road was promiscuity. So with that, I had my first pregnancy at the age of 13. I was forced to have an abortion, and my father told me, you know, maybe you won't do it again. No sedative, which is here. All of the goodies and details are here in my book. But he said, well, maybe you won't do it again. The doctor were trying to force my dad. They said, no, you need to give her a sedative. You know, we can't. She's too young for that. And he said, no, not. Wow. So needless to say, I ended up being pregnant again at the age of 15, and I birthed my son. I hid my pregnancy for 6 months. And I birthed my son, who is now 25, he'll be 26 next month. But when I became pregnant, well, when my father found out I was pregnant, he took me down to the welfare department and signed me over to the state as a legal minor and told me to figure it out. You're on your own. Don't ask for help. I'm not doing anything. Don't call. just, you got to figure it out. And at that time, of course, you know, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I've had my whole world, you know, this is everything. Now it's upside down, you know. Dad, what am I supposed to do? Mom, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? And he said, figure it out. So to go from something to nothing. And something, again, was it felt like it was just so far away. You know, I was living from pillow to post. I didn't know, you know, where I lived out of a garbage bag. When I had my son, I lived with, oh my God, I've lived somewhere everywhere. Places where I shouldn't have been. But just wanting and yearning for something more. But my goal was to prove him wrong. Was to finish high school, still graduate on time, the top of my class. That was what my goal was. But the thing that was great for me is that my grandmother set a great foundation for me. So I was a candy striper. I was always doing something in the community with her. I was always feeding the homeless. We were always going to force me to go to the nursing homes. And I'm like, Grandma, it stinks in there. I'm like, Grandma, it smells so bad. She's like, no, you're gonna go and you're gonna serve and you're gonna love it. So that was my first source of what it was to give back. And I taught myself. My grandmother had a salon. My grandmother actually had the first interracial beauty salon, etiquette school, and modeling school in the state of Indiana. Wow. So I was raised in hair care and modeling and etiquette. So she put me on the runway when I was 2. Wow. She crocheted all of my clothes. That's what I'm saying. I was exposed to so much at an early age, and I always tell my dad now, I just thank my grandma so much, like taking me to, you know, the White House. I was inducted into the NAACP when I was 5. Like, she was the epitome of what a black woman was for me. So I began doing hair, and I said I want to be a lawyer. But my grandmother left her salon. My father wouldn't let me have that. But I said, you know what? I've graduated. I'm going to go ahead and go to hair school. He's not going to be able to say no because I'm going to get my license. But in the meantime, I was living with my cousin, sleeping on her sofa, and going to school, going to cosmetology school every day. And I worked 3 jobs. And I had my son. But in the midst of all of that, I would carry all of my supplies in the trunk of my car. They called my car the Hustlemobile. And I went door to door every day, whether you had money or not. I went door to door to do hair for women, for elderly women, especially in the winter months. So like Thanksgiving, Christmas, I would go and do hair. And my granny would call me and she would say, Anita, I have a friend that needs her hair done. She doesn't have any money, but can you? I said, of course. So that's how I ended up meeting my husband.
Okay.
That's a message right there. Exactly.
When you're doing things and you're doing things in the community, and I found myself doing things out of passion, but that was out of purpose. Everything, and I said there's a lot of times we find ourselves doing things out of passion with no purpose. So as long as it has a purpose, your passion is there. But just make sure that those two tie in. And with me doing that and making sure that because it's so much purpose behind it, because God said for what you do for the least of mine, you've done for me. So going in and beautifying women, and you know, that self-image for them is everything. I said self-esteem is what we see, but the image is what you see. So that's just huge for me. So I was able to do that. Met my husband. We've been married now 18 years. My daughter is 17, you know, so.
appreciate everything you've done in the community, because that's something that should be emulated, by all of us, especially as women. I know you wrote this book, The Storm After the Storm. What can you tell us outside of what you've spoken about already? What is in the book? What's something that we can kind of look forward to reading in the book?
It talks about what I went through in my marriage. I'm a domestic abuse survivor. And a lot of people didn't know that. And a lot of times, even when you see on TV, social media, reality television, everyone puts their business out there. And I remember my husband going to counseling for the first time, and my pastor asked me, he said, why didn't you share this? Why didn't you tell people what you were going through? I said, because I never wanted people to look at him based on what we went through. I wanted people to know him for them, how, their interaction, their relationship. I said, a lot of times we do things out of anger, out of, just spite, or just sometimes we can be a little reckless, with our lives. But now that, we are still together, we're able to share our story on a totally different platform. To say, this is what we went through, but this is where we are now.
It's amazing. So, very important message for people to hear.
So, and I teach people about mastering their own storms, what people go through, because what it is the storm. The storm is actually the character in the book. Her name is Ere, and it means storm. So it's who she is after a life storm of events. And she's walking in a totally different light. So for me to be able to share this, this is me, and I relived it. And another thing that I teach people is that when you're writing, it's so much therapy.
It is.
It's so therapeutic. Like when I was going through the pages and reliving everything that I went through, I released myself from my own bondage. I didn't realize that I was in bondage all by myself. And when I say the shackles were removed, taken off, right? So, I talk about what I went through with my son, and, I had one woman who was able to help me. Her name was Miss Roscoe, and I would tear up every time I would talk about this story, because I went and knocked on her door, and I said I was out of school for 3 weeks when I had my son, and that was it, 3 weeks only, and I said I got to go back to school. And I had a friend of the family. She said, don't tell your daddy I told you, but you go and knock on Miss Roscoe's door, and she's going to help you. And I went and knocked on her door, and I said, Miss Roscoe, I need your help. I need to go to school. I don't have any money. I don't have anything. She grabbed my son, and she said, baby, go to school. And I was just like, okay, like, that's it? She said, go to school. I came back. She had got the mothers together, and she was old. When she had to be about 80. And she had like 5 playpens in her living room, but she had got all the mothers together to get me a diaper bag, get my son a winter coat, and just all of those things. So when I tell you giving back is serious for me, some people do it just to say, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. No, it's real for me. When I'm cutting hair for the homeless, I do it because I love to do it. I talk about turning something that was once profit and passion, it's back, it was passion first, then it was profit, and now it's passion again. So I'm able to do that for free because I love to do that. I'm able to, help women that are victims of domestic abuse because I know what that looks like when you're standing in the face of it. Last year, we purchased a home for women called Moses. So, a safe haven in South Dallas, and it's the first safe haven in the southern sector of Dallas.
That is amazing, Anita. That is amazing.
Wow. Thank you so much. That was amazing. Oh my God, I'm just so happy to have you as our first guest for the season.
We're so inspired.
I'm so inspired. I don't know what to say. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Can you let our guests and our viewers know where they can find you on social media, where they can purchase your book? Because I think a lot of people will benefit from you.
Well, I am Anita Hawkins. I can be reached at, let's see, what's the first email? Find one reason to smile at gmail.com, or you can find me on Instagram, AEH Fashion, or Find One Reason to Smile is on Instagram as well. The book, The Storm After the Storm, can be purchased at AnitaEHawkins.com or Amazon.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's get into hot topics.
Yes.
Did you guys hear that Meghan Markle is pregnant? That's fine, but did you see how they announced it?
Oh,
They announced her pregnancy at Prince Harry's cousin's wedding. What would you do?
Who does that?
Who does that?
does that? Seriously, I don't care who you are.
I mean, the Duchess of Duchesses.
Okay, that is my
You could be the queen of whomever.
that is my day.
Right.
And that's
Because
what-
Meghan had her day. Meghan had her day, and it was aired for 4-6 hours here in the
Yes.
US. Nobody came and,
Tried to
stepped on
outshine
that. Yeah,
her.
that was wrong.
Let me tell you something. I saw this meme once. It said, if you do something at my wedding, I will get pregnant at your baby shower. I will die at your funeral. Don't play with me. It's my day to shine. I am old.
Yeah, that was wrong. That shouldn't have been. That takes away. You know what I mean?
And yes, and my thing
Yeah.
is Meghan and Harry are so big. They know that they could have taken
Right.
any other day to do that, and they would have been amazing. But why do they have to take the shine from someone else? And I love me some Harry and Meghan, but that was just wrong.
Yeah, that
At
was
that
wrong.
point, I might just have to snip you out my life.
You know what? Well, you know what though? We never know. Maybe the cousin did something during that wedding that made her say, you know what, I got you. Let me throw some shade back.
That's
at
not
you.
That's
Because-
not women empowerment, though.
But isn't it? I'm
Yo,
wondering.
I'm like that, though. I'm not
You
gonna
know,
lie.
I know, but
What did she do? Because I've been like, oh.
what I'm thinking is, isn't this the same cousin that wore that pin or something?
No. That was an
Is it
older
different
lady.
cousin?
Oh, I watched that.
Wait, what pin? What pin?
She wore a pin with a.
There was a pin
African.
that was
It was
a racist
Yeah, a
pin.
racist pin. That. Yeah.
No, that was a different. That was a different.
That was
cousin.
a different.
But I'm sure.
older
But
cousin.
there's something there.
There's something there.
Yeah,
There's
I
always
think
something.
there must have been, but still, it just doesn't justify it. I think.
Yeah, that was wrong.
Like,
I have to
Do you know
the
she's
jury.
mad? Is she mad about it?
Who, the cousin?
I think so, because I think that's why it's such a
It came out.
Yeah.
If she wasn't mad, she'd be like,
And it was-
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. But you know what?
Queen Elizabeth
But
did
you know
that.
what?
She's ready.
But you know what? You know what I liked about the wedding, the bride though. She had scoliosis as a kid, and her dress was designed in
right.
such a way that her scar was showing. You got to give it up to her. I like her.
Yes, that's a fight.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so why you gonna do that to someone like that?
That's true.
She sounds like
People are shady.
Yeah, people are
Charmaine said, now I feel bad.
throwing a whole tree.
Yeah, that was wrong. That was just
So
wrong.
what's your next topic?
So there's a rivalry between
Tiwa Savage and Yemi Alade.
Yeah, tell us a little.
yeah.
Give us a backstory.
Okay, Tiwa Savage, I think she's 38, I think. Not really sure.
Okay.
And Yemi Alade is younger. Okay. Yemi Alade,
She does her thing. She does her thing.
So I think that when artists stay popular maybe for a while.
5 to 10 years.
Because when you get into 38, it can be a little bit.
The youngins are coming up now.
Yeah, the youngins. So I think there's a bit of a rivalry there. But hey, you know what? It happens with everybody. Look at was it Cardi B?
Cardi B and Nicki
Yeah,
Minaj.
it happens with every.
It's every
And I
industry.
think it was Paul Abdul and somebody else growing up.
J-Lo maybe?
Yeah. So.
But
yeah.
my thing is there's room for more than one.
That's what I think.
So why? I mean, why does it have to be that way? For Nicki and Cardi, Nicki could have really maintained her stature as the queen of rap or whatever if she had just embraced Cardi in a certain way to not necessarily be all over her, but just to kind of give her space but still maintain her spot. But why did she have to come and stomp her down? And
People shouldn't even pit women against each other. Nobody's putting Jay-Z against Kendrick Lamar.
There you go.
No one's doing having these conversations about the men. So let's just, it's not, to me it's a moot point. Both of those women are doing their things, whether it's via collabs only or having their own solo music being put out.
But Tiwa was big, and I think she's still big, and she's beautiful too. I mean, at 38,
I still listen
she's
to her
still beautiful.
music,
So that's just women empowerment all the way.
All
honey.
the way. Everyone can get a piece of the pie.
Right.
So at the same time, I'm always gonna play devil's advocate. I love Nicki. It's going back to Nicki and Cardi. I love Nicki. Since her name was Nicki Minaj, okay? And that's her government name, Onika Minaj. I'm a fan. Okay, before she had a fake booty and everything. Like, okay. I loved her. I still love her today. And I feel like, first of all, you can love both. Like,
yes, I do.
Yeah, I love Cardi too. But at the same time, like, there was stuff that, like, when Nicki was coming up, you know, Little Kim and her had the rivalry.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, is it karma? Like, you see how you were treated? You didn't like the way Little Kim treated you when you were coming up. And now you want, you know, Little Kim's like, I want my respect. And now Nicki and Cardi is like, Nicki's like, I want my respect. But it's like, what happened with Little Kim? So sometimes, like, and like you said, like, I hate that they're putting them together because it's like, but I feel like for some reason, whenever it's women doing something, it's like, it's very catty. It's like, I feel like it's society and maybe male ego or whatnot that's making us choose that there only can be one.
Yeah.
When, no matter how saturated the market is, if it's your time to shine and God sees it, like, let it just happen. And I want to stop the fighting and the beefing and let us love all these women.
That's women empowerment.
When you look up at the sky at night, is there just one star shining?
Talk about it.
They're all shining, right? So why can't we create room for each other to all shine?
In a perfect world.
Let's create that perfect world.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching this episode of Ndeipi MuDiaspora. I hope what we talked about, you know, meant something to someone. Our guest
was amazing.
Anita Hawkins. Oh, she's just amazing. You know, follow her, buy her book. I mean, she is wonderful.
She is wonderful.
I'll be reading.
Yes. Okay, thank you guys for watching another episode of Ndeipi MuDiaspora. Be sure to subscribe, like, follow all of our pages, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all of that. We look forward to seeing you guys again.